Ah, the year of our Lord and Savior 2020, a time of remembrance on what is most important in life. Family, friends, a general physical and mental health and well-being, and being locked to your home in fear of the great granny apocalypse.
I want all these hoes to know that a real nigga just hit the dough. No more Versace, get off of my clothes.
Yay, we are coming up on the home stretch, everyone. Nature is healing. I guess the one positive thing I could possibly take away from this whole social experiment gone wrong was the fact that I got the time to play more video games. I recently been revisiting some old titles from when I was a kid, and it's been a real heartwarming experience reliving the happy memories of my childhood. Hi, my name is Mari, and welcome to my new channel. This will mainly be me revisiting the games that I played as a kid and putting a spotlight on them to show the world my appreciation for these titles, while also examining them to see if they still hold up today. I would also like to use my platform as a way to highlight games that I feel are personally exceptional but criminally undervalued. I want this channel to be an open market showcase of the games that I feel have shaped me into the person I am today and deserve to be looked at with a critical eye. Now, which game did I choose to be first on my chopping block?
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Alright, before you shove your pitchforks at me saying I'm a charlatan, hear me out. This is a game I've had since I was a wee bab, and I just never got rid of. At the time, I was really into games with animals in them, mostly because I was, and still am, allergic to most pets and wasn't allowed one till much later. Nowadays, I do have a dog. His name is Astro, he's hypoallergenic, and he is a king. All hail Rat Baby. So I was going through a lot of my old games just to pass the time, and this just happened to be a game I never finished as a kid. I sat down with it, determined to finish it with my adult big brain power, and you know what I realized? This game is really weird. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Enough dragging our feet with the intro. Let's just dive right in, shall we? While doing some research for this video, I realized that this game was a collaborative effort between Yuke's and the Artlist Collection. Yuke's being the developers for some anime games like 2 Berserk titles, a Mobile Suit Gundam game, and probably their most popular franchise, the WWE series. The Ultimate Anime Fighter, I guess.
Shut up, bitch!
While the Artlist Collection was a brand of animal stickers, calendars, and later on a toy line of dogs, cats, and a bunch of other cute and cuddly critters. This was a bit of a fad in the early 2000s, but whiffed past me completely as a kid. I did, however, find this commercial from back in the day that sums it up pretty well.
What kind of dog is that?
The dog.
Little bunny.
Huge head. The dog. Enough said. The dog.
Hangs in my bed.
The dog.
This one's Fred. So many, so cool. Little bunny.
Huge head.
You heard it here, folks. Enough said. So a game about dogs with big heads in the back of the box proclaiming that this is an adorable quest. How does this game begin?
I always think of you and I'll try to cross the emerald ocean. As long as the stars are guiding me, I don't know how much time I need.
Oh my gosh. If this isn't a nostalgic kick to the gut, then I don't know what is. The game truly begins with an overhead view of the player's home village of Pororo Town. We see a pirate dog named El Dorado dropping off a letter to a post carrier because the address got smudged and he needs help finding the owner. I think he blames it on seawater getting on the paper, but I think it's just his own saliva.
Coronavirus! Coronavirus!
After that, the postman, or post dog, takes the letter and enlists the help of an old wise dog. Okay, we're not doing that anymore. To see if he recognizes the address. This will be where the character chooses their preferred breed of dog, and I gotta give credit where credit is due. This game does have a wide variety of breeds to choose from, so kids can roleplay as their favorite pet. Gold star. I, of course, am playing as my dog Astro because he is best dog. All hail Rat Baby. Once you're done with that, you also get to choose the gender of your dog's sibling. Amelia for a boy and Maria for a girl. After all that's completed, we are introduced to our dog family, that being your mum, Mar, and your sibling of choice. Yada yada yada, something weirdly ominous about my sister being sick, and you being sent on an errand to fetch milk from the milk store. TM. You go outside to meet Enzo, who is just hanging out, I guess. This is where you are thrusted into the tutorial and are introduced to the main mechanic of the game, sniffing. By holding down the square button, your dog will begin sniffing in the air and 2 circles will appear at the bottom of the screen. Kind of like a game of hot and cold, the circle will get bigger if you're going in the right direction and will get smaller if you go in the opposite direction of your goal. The notch is lighting up, letting you know when you're closing in on your target. Once you hear the sound, you press the triangle button and dig up what you find. The blue circle indicates items that are plot related, whereas the yellow circle indicates other items in the surrounding area, like fruits, vegetables, a will to live,
gotcha, bitch,
and flowers, that are saved into your scent collection for the rest of the game. After finding the basket for Enzo, because he was too busy digging around, we head back home to get ready for the Star Festival. Just as you're about to leave, your sister is upset because she can't come to the Star Festival and has to stay home. Due to her mysterious disease, she is not allowed to leave lest her illness were to get worse. What is this mysterious illness, I hear you ask? I don't actually know. The game never clarifies this, but it's super duper serious apparently. A little bit later, your sister sneaks out of the house while your mom is sleeping, the little rascal, and meets you outside before a scavenger hunt begins, where you have to find seashells. Walking around town and talking to some villagers, I noticed something very peculiar about the dogs. What is up with the naming convention in this game? Enzo, Gustavo, Amidio, Sonic 3 featuring Knuckles. Why does everyone sound like they belong in an Italian dog mafia? Bizarre nomenclature aside, we win the scavenger hunt and are rewarded with a bouquet of flowers, which we give to Maria.
Oh my god! Oh! He needs some milk!
Taking Maria back to the house, the doctor delivers the bad news. Maria's condition has gotten worse and he has no way of curing her. All we can do now is stay close to her side and wait for the inevitable. Unless there may be one thing we can do. There is a doctor in another town named Dr. Potan, and he may know of a way of curing Maria, but he lives on the Dog Island. The island itself is very dangerous, and traveling to the island is disastrous with all the storms surrounding the coast. And with the state Maria is in, she is in no shape to travel. So, you volunteer yourself to find Dr. Potan and bring him back. Your mother, however, pleads for you to reconsider. Your father has already left to find a cure for your sister, and he hasn't come back. What is this game? But you are committed. You must travel to the Dog Island, and you must find the cure. You say your final farewells, knowing the possibility that you may never return home, before boarding the ship that will take you on your grand adventure. Well, that was melodramatic, but it did really catch me off guard when I first experienced it. And this isn't the last time in the game where the story takes a sharp dip into sad and depressing episodes, and then shoots right back up again with, "Aw, cute puppies! Look how adorable they are! Oh no, a bird fell! We've got to fix his wing!"
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
I will say that the art style of this game is really adorable. The dogs do look like the toys in which they are inspired from, but with that PS2 3D graphics appeal, with the animals being rounded down with no sharp edges and everything having those big doughy big eyes. Very appealing to 7-year-old Mari and current Mari. On that, we are on the ship, and we have to work our way to the Dog Island. This mostly has us use our sniff ability to find dirt on the ship and learning how to fish with a rogue piece of dental floss. Look at him go. After about 15 minutes of chores, a storm begins a-brewing. Fearing to hit the sharp rocks that surround the island, El Dorado commands the ship to turn back, but for the brave and heroic Astro, turning back is not an option. Miraculously waking up on the island and not on the River Styx, we are woken up by a pup named Amalia. Twitter notified her of your location in 280 characters less, how cheeky, and she rescued you from the beach. You explain to her your situation, and she leads you to find Dr. Potan, who is the resident doctor of the main village of Pupsville. We are introduced to the doctor and he is willing to help, but he makes it very clear that it'll take him a couple days to research a cure before he is ready to leave. So that means we gotta find room and board, I guess. Amalia takes us to see Noble. He's a bit of an odd character, but he just so happens to have a room available to stay in. As long as we do him a favor, of course. Do you believe in ghosts? He explains that the empty room has had some rather strange occurrences recently. People even going so far as to say that the place and his family line are cursed. What nerve. We make a deal with him that if we snoop out the paranormal activity, that the house is ours. Okay, sounds good to me. Let's get going. Please, don't enter that room. Oh. Well, let's just zoom in and see if we can see inside from over here. Okay. From one haunted house to another, we rumble on over to our destination. Amalia leaves soon after entering, something about leaving her grandma in the tub for too long.
Stand here, you're cowards! I wasn't
You're
there.
cowards! You know.
But after some investigating, we find out what has been causing all the paranormal disturbances. And, well, I'll just let it play.
Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god! What is that?
He shuffles around a bit like he's trying to find the bathroom after a cheeky morning coffee, but soon introduces himself as Patasi. He backhands you with some straight up facts, saying that he is in fact not a ghost, but instead something called an Ankh. Ankhs are creatures from a parallel dimension that used to live hand in hand with the pups from the dog world, but have since been separated. Patasi later in the game explains that he was banished from his world by the Queen Ankh for being a very naughty boy.
This is not okay. This needs to stop now.
And was sent to the dog world to do some good deeds for the residents of the island. Problem is that most dogs can't actually see him, so I guess he's just been faffing about before I came along to solve his problems for him. Seeing as our goals align, he agrees to come along with me to find the cure for Maria and help the natives with their problems. After solving Noble's ghost situation, we begin to head on over to Dr. Potan's place. But not before Patasi needs our help in finding an open patch of land. He needs our help in planting what he calls an Ankh tree, which supposedly grows on, get this, gratitude. By helping other villagers and doing side quests, the tree will grow and will help Patasi so that he may return home once it has grown to full size. I was really beginning to question Patasi's motives at this point, but it's actually important to the end of the game, so I'll let it slide. Returning to Dr. Potan, he now knows what herbs he needs to gather for his medicine, but he can't go and get himself because he doesn't have a very good nose on him.
Loser! You're a loser!
So guess what that means? You have to go and find the ingredients, of course. How he did anything before I arrived is a mystery, but to find the herbs that he needs, I have to find a sniff master to refine my prized nose. But, what's a sniff master? In game, a sniff master is a dog who knows the smells of the world and can hunt down grand artifacts. It's an apparently pretty big deal, which we will find out later on in the game. That's where this shady motherfucker comes in. Listening through the door like a peeping Tom, we find him in one of the open areas and he introduces himself as Yi Lu. This is the part of the game where we are introduced to the combat. Yes, you heard me right. This game has combat. Okay, I might be fibbing a little bit here, but do you see those hearts in the corner of the screen? That's your health.
What?
As you explore the world, there will be hostile creatures scattered all over the place that will try to hurt you.
You get in my face with that, I'll beat your goddamn ass, you son of a bitch!
Some more threatening than others. Hashtag Harambe noticed me. To avoid getting hurt, you can either stay out of their range and just avoid them, or you can bark at them to stun them. To do this, you gotta sneak up behind them without them noticing you, Solid Snake style. Then you hold down the X button to charge up your bark power. It will release on its own and will stun the enemies for a certain duration, depending on how long you charged it. A tiny yip will stun them for a couple seconds, while a fully charged assault to the brain will paralyze them for the whole time you stay in the area. It's pretty good for harassing the local wildlife too. And that's the entire game, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm only half joking, but in all seriousness, the most interesting part of the game is like in the first 2 hours. After this, the game begins to grind to a halt. Fetch Quest the game is a good way to describe how I feel, because the rest of the game is just you doing menial tasks for the other dogs on the island. It's not so bad in like the first quarter of the game because the quests are still grounded in finding herbs for Dr. Potan before returning to Pororo Town, but in the last 2 quarters you literally can't finish the game without doing every single side quest for every NPC on the island because you need as much gratitude as you can get to grow the Ankh tree and become a sniff master. Thankfully, there's a feature in your map that will allow you to sniff the world to see if anyone's in distress. I guess fear really does have a smell, but overall it's definitely a bit tedious. Later on, there's a way to teleport yourself from region to region, but in the beginning all you can do is run from place to place. By holding the circle button, you can build up a dash that will rocket you across the map in a pretty decent amount of time, but I swear that turning is impossible to do as you are going supersonic speed. It's like trying to Tokyo drift in a tank. Your dog has a crazy amount of weight on it that only you can feel when you're dashing. I am trying so hard to turn right here, but he just keeps going straight. It's so bizarre. Anyways, back to the quest. The routine here is to talk to the quest giver, go find whatever shit they dropped, bring it back, and get rewarded with woofs. Woofs being the currency that you can use to purchase healing items and clothes to deck your diggity dog out in. Aster here is looking like he wants to be the very best, like no one ever was. Dun dun dun. Some of the quests do have you going out and finding 2 cents to combine into the item that you're really looking for, but I swear this never actually worked for me. The one example that sticks in my mind was when I needed to find a potato and pumpkin to find glue for Noble. I had the pumpkin, but I didn't know the smell of a potato. I go to the area in which the quest giver said is where I could find the glue, thinking the potato might be in the same area as the lost item, but the quest item came up anyways.
Surprise, motherfucker!
So I picked it up, took it back to Noble, and completed the quest. Okay, so where was the potato then? It was in the snowy fields, a place I don't think I had access to at the time. So either it glitched out on me, or the game designers really didn't give a shit. Most of the quests I'd probably throw in a bin of generic mindless fluff content, but there were a handful that stuck out to me like a thorn in my side that I do feel deserve a mention. One involves Dr. Potan, where it starts off with a nurse named Francis asking if we can find the good doc, saying that he has disappeared. We find him in the lake-filled area in the middle of one of the islands, and in reaching him, we find him mourning over a gravestone. He confides in you, saying that this is the grave of his best friend from when he was a young doctor. This girl was to be his fiancée, but she was sick with an illness that he could not cure, eventually leading to her death. Sometimes he can still see her, watching him with sad eyes, knowing the pain that he has carried for all these years, with the regret that he could not save her. This goes in tandem with a quest later on where the whole village comes down with a strange fever, including Dr. Potan.
Coronavirus!
Obaba, a traditional healer, comes into town recognizing the symptoms and clearing the waterways that the town was drinking from of bad oglai?
Oi, 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 Savaloi!
The villagers begin to feel better in time, but this incident gives us more insight on Dr. Potan and Obaba's past. Obaba tried to help Potan when his girlfriend was sick, but because of the doctor's pride, he would not listen to her. They argued over the best way to treat the girl, but by the time they realized their mistake, it was too late. Upon Potan waking up, they realized the fact that they both played a part in the girl's demise, and they reconcile with each other, agreeing to work together in the future. This is one of the moments of the game that I was like, what on earth am I playing? But I also genuinely found it sweet and kind of made me feel for these characters. Alright, back to the plot. Dr. Potan comes back with us to Pororo Town on the ship and goes to see to your sister. But sadly it was all for naught, as Potan reveals that what he has brought is not enough to cure Maria. All he can do is slow her symptoms. But wait, there might be another way to cure your sister. Again. Legend has it that a flower that once bloomed all over the dog island was said to have magical properties, even curing dogs of all kinds of diseases. No one has seen it for a long time, but it seems to be the best course of action at this moment. So you know what that means. Get back in the ocean, Fido. We've got a flower to find. So back on the dog island, hooray, we set out in search of the flower, leading us to Grandmaster Tao, who says that the only way to find the flower is to become a sniff master. 1, 2, skip a few hours. Wait, is that a blue hedgehog? Oh wait, I almost forgot something. On your second round to the dog island, your folks will begin sending letters for you, talking about how life has been, asking if you're doing okay, and even asking if you can send them stuff like flowers for your sister's birthday. Potan will even send a postcard keeping you up to date on your sister's condition. Towards the end of the game, we do find the legendary flower, We find it wilted, but it's not dead yet, so we go back to one of the ruins to find the Stone of the Heavens, in an attempt to revive the flower. Now remember, as a kid, I never actually finished this title, so I had no idea what the end game looked like up until this point. So, color me surprised when I got to the end of the level, and then all of a sudden, some of the best music in the game begins to play, the temple begins to shake and transform, and well, roll the clip.
What the fuck?
A boss fight. We have a boss fight. This has been the only boss fight in the game, so yeah, I can admit I was caught off guard a bit.
Swiggity Swooty, I'm coming for that booty. Swiggity Swooty, I'm coming for that booty.
It's not much of a fight, however, because all you gotta do is sniff the air, find the button to walk on, do that 2 more times, and then dig up a button in the center of the room, and then he falls over like a sack of shit. After a little minecart minigame that goes on for like 2 minutes too long, we escape the ruins with our prize and head back into town. Standing under the Ankh tree, we raise the Stone of the Heavens to the sky and watch as the legendary flower begins to bloom. Now that we are at the end of our journey, it's time to say goodbye. But before we can depart, we must say one last goodbye to our companion and friend throughout this entire adventure. We both know that we may never see each other again, now that he must go back to the Ankh world, but we both make a promise to never forget each other and that we will always be best friends. As the credits roll, we see our dog disembark from the ship and make his way to the house. Giving the flower to his sis, we see the flower's power take hold and Maria is cured. We've done it. We've saved our sick sister. Suck on that, Potan. You'll never be my real dad. Speaking of dads, in the post-credits scene, Marvel could never, we are chilling at home, probably watching Eurovision or something.
I hate this channel.
No!
And we hear a knock on the door. Hey, it's my long-lost father. Yay. Suck on that, Potan. I knew my dad wasn't dead. Apparently when my dad was searching for a cure for Maria, he got horribly lost. So lost that he fell into a separate dimension, and the only way he found his way home was with the help of a little familiar friend. Hey, Patazi's back. Yay. And with that, the game finally closes with the world at peace and a family reunited once again. And it feels so good. Well, that was fun. This has definitely been a weird way to start this channel, but in all honesty, that was kind of intentional. Yes, it's dumb. Yes, it's for kids. Yes, this is so niche that no one would find this video unless they were looking for this game for some reason only God knows.
Oh my god!
But that's the thing. I genuinely had a really good time revisiting this game. Sometimes I feel people are ashamed of the things they liked as a kid, waving it off as just a guilty pleasure or denying that they liked that thing at all. For me, I don't think we should be embarrassed of our childhoods. If that thing that you liked when you were 5 years old contributed at all to the person that you are today, then I think you should own it. Maybe not if you're a terrible person, but that's probably more of a current issue than you being subjected to Power Rangers. I also just wanted to make a fun video that I hope makes you smile and can bring even a little bit of joy to your life. These days, we all need a reason to smile, and if that means putting myself out there for you to laugh along with me to a silly game, then I consider that mission accomplished. I pray that you all stay safe out there, and thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see here, please subscribe and share the video with your friends and family. Anyone that you think would enjoy this content, of course.
Avocado! Thanks!
Probably don't send this to your boomer auntie, she might question your level of taste after that kind of stunt. Also, please consider leaving a like and also comment down below with ideas and tips on how to better the channel, and on what I should consider playing next. I hope you all have a great day. Kisses!